NFL's Week 2 is in full swing, everyone. Ed's Commanders unfortunately took a loss Thursday night, but we've got 8 games in the early window on Sunday, 4 in the late window. Falcons Vikings on Sunday night, and 2 Monday Night Football games. Welcome to the Breaking Entering podcast. He's Ed. I'm Brandon. Ed, what's going on, man?
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. But we're gonna get into it. We'll get into
Yeah.
it. Let's start this opening drive though. Travis Hunter is expected to get more defensive snaps on Sunday against the Bengals. The Jets have released returner Xavier Gibson after a critical special teams fourth quarter fumble against the Steelers. Patriots defensive coordinator Terrell Williams is leaving the team for a few days due to a possible health issue. I hope everything is all right with him. Lamar Jackson apologizes to the fan that pushed him. He says, just chill next time. You can talk trash and stuff, but keep your hands to yourself. I agree.
Yeah.
Cowboys cornerback Deron Bland commits a couple of weeks with a right foot injury he suffered in practice. I believe he's not going to be playing against the Giants this week. FanDuel reportedly agrees to pay $5 million for employee theft covering gambling losses. Washington Commanders running back Austin Eckler believed to have torn his Achilles, and defensive end Dietrich Wise is out for the season with a torn quad. That Thursday night game against the Packers. Speaking of Packers, wide receiver Jaden Reed suffered a broken collarbone and has to get surgery. Brock Purdy seems to be out for week 2 with a toe injury for the Raiders. For the 49ers. And tight end Dallas Goddard is out with a knee injury this week against the Chiefs. And the Chargers, Tierra Tart reportedly fined for slapping Chiefs Travis Kelce in week 1 matchup. He wasn't suspended or ejected from the game. He was just fined. But yeah, interesting stuff.
Sure. All right, everyone. It was an all-white affair Thursday night in Green Bay, and the home team came out on top 27-18. Ed, what are your thoughts?
Like I said, not mad, just a disappointed. Well, let me take that back. I was kind of pissed off watching the game, but as I sat in, I got less mad and more disappointed. I want to say this: the offensive line in Kingsbury, they should all go up to Jaden Daniels if they haven't already and apologize to him for the way they played that game and for the way Kingsbury called the plays. You saw it in the beginning, as soon as the first drive, just offensive line got dominated. And Laramie Tunsil, Josh Connerly Jr., sir, the rookie. I'm hoping he gets better for you, but this is week 2. You're going against a marquee, edge rusher, and you're getting beat like a drum, son. I mean, it did not look good out there. I mean, and in Kingsbury, you gotta. If is there something you can do? I mean, I know they can get away. The Packers were getting away with rushing 4 and dropping everybody back in coverage, so he couldn't really scramble like that. And then when the Packers did bring the heat, it was tough. But can we run the ball a little bit more? I'm not talking about with Austin Eckler. I'm talking with the guy, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, Bill. He only had 4 rushes over there. I know the game kind of got out of hand, but still, you see that the pass rush is getting to Jaden pretty much every damn play. Can we run the ball? I don't care what the score is at this point. Jaden Daniels was getting hit almost every time he stepped back to pass. I'm not talking about just him getting sacked. Even when he was releasing the ball, you can see him getting pushed or hit, shoved to the ground. None of those was called, by the way. I guess they just let him play out there. I hope if it's gonna be like that, I want to be like that the whole season. I don't want to see any more roughing the passers when guys release the ball and they get shoved to the ground because they didn't call not goddamn one of those against Jaden last night on Thursday. That pissed me the hell off. Um, Trey Amos, second week in a row, our rookie cornerback getting trucked. I don't know if you remember this plays early in the first half. Jordan Love on a 3rd and 9 of all times. 3rd and 9, he scrambles off to the right. Trey Amos comes up to try to make a play, and he bounces off of him like a pinball machine. This is the second week in a row. Trey Amos is on a negative end of a highlight trying to tackle somebody. Please, I know he's a cornerback, but please, it's the quarterback. I know some of them a little bigger, but come on now, take his legs out of something. You cannot let this continue to happen, sir. Please. And then on that same damn play, Frankie Louvu our linebackers, which I'm gonna get into in a second too. Frankie Louvu absolutely whiffs on tackling Jordan Love when after Trey Amos bounces off of him and he goes flying out of bounds, looking like a damn clown. I'm
Yes.
like, bro, come on, what are y'all doing out there, man? I'm gonna have that highlight up for the when we do the post set and everything, but it was pathetic out there. One thing I saw that just carrying over from last year, the defense has zero playmakers. You cannot name me one playmaker on the defense. And if you can, he makes a play like once a game. I mean, there's zero playmakers on the defensive side of the ball, and it's bad. When the score was 10-17 and we needed to make a stop, nope. Packers rushed down the field, long drive, and was able to score a touchdown. They cannot make a stop when a stop needs to be made. Only reason this game wasn't a blowout even more is because Jordan Love was off and it was Thursday night football. It was early in the first half. You text me about Trey was making a play, batting a pass away. That's because Jordan Love underthrew the ball. If he would have threw it on time and accurate, that would have been a touchdown. There was a couple of plays like that. Another thing about the defense, the linebacker play on average is awful at best. I was texting you about it. As soon as the play happens, this is the same thing like last year. As soon as the play starts, the linebackers, I'm texting you like, are the linebackers on the field? Because I don't see anybody. I don't see one linebacker around. They either chasing the ball 15 yards behind somebody, or they not on it. You don't see them on the screen. And I'm talking about they'll show the middle of the field. It'll be wide open. There is no linebackers. They're either pancaked or they just out of the damn play completely. Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, they talk about him. I know he's a future Hall of Famer. He's a 6-time All-Pro, first-team All-Pro. I get it. He was great. Them days is long gone. I mean, long gone. He's good at stopping the run a little bit, but Tucker Kraft, I'm not putting it all on Bobby Wagner. I'm putting it on all the linebackers in the defense too. But Tucker Kraft was doing whatever he wanted out there. You see the stats flashing across the screen right there. Most yards by a tight end since 2015 when Richard Rodgers was playing with Aaron Rodgers. He could do whatever he wanted out there. It was terrible. And then the last thing, I think we need to, I know it's early, but I think we need to bring another kicker in and get a kicking competition started because Matt Gay missed 2 field goals. I know one was 58 yards, but these days that's like a chip shot for a lot of these guys. We need to have, especially when a game like that, when the offense can't get a lot going, we need points when we can. He missed that 58-yarder, and then he missed the 52, 51-yarder, and his confidence was gone. You could see it in his face. It was just bad. Play calling, terrible. Offensive line, a joke. I think we got the Raiders next week. Max Crosby coming into town. Can we block him, or is he going to wreck the damn offensive line too? Because it wasn't just Michael Parsons. Devontae Wyatt was getting off. Luca Van Ness was getting off. They looked like they was getting shot out of a cannon the way they jumped as soon as the ball was hiked. It was crazy out there. Their defense totally dominated for the most part. Only good thing I liked out there, Jaded Downs, he has his cool demeanor, his cool and calm and collected demeanor. At the end of the game, late in the fourth quarter, you saw him on the bench, and he had a look on his face like he was pissed. And I really like that. I'm hoping that translates into next week. We get a good week of practice, a full week of practice, and we get things turned around because that was just terrible. We got our asses whooped out there. Happy birthday, Dan Quinn. That's all I got to say right now. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
You pretty much summed it all up. Got a few additional numbers to throw out there to y'all. 96, 92, and 55. Those were the amount of yards in each of the Green Bay scoring drives for touchdowns. You had another drive of 54 yards, ended up being a field goal. When you give up that many yards on those many drives, it typically doesn't end well. Too many holes in the Washington defense all night long. You mentioned Tucker Kraft, what he was able to do, 6 receptions, 124 yards, and a touchdown. And he's a tight end. He's not like he's their number one receiver. You know what I'm saying? And he's no Travis Kelce or Brock Bowers or Sam Laporta. You know what I'm saying? Tucker Kraft is
Shit, he
good,
might
but
as he might have been combined all three of them last on Thursday. He might as well been.
he's good, but he's not necessarily like one of those big names that you hear those type of things. So clearly, it's issues on the Washington side. That 157-yarder, man, I laughed so hard because it was like you said. I just thought about you. There's no linebackers within 5 or 10 yards of him. He legit caught the pass, turned around, and was able to go. And I think it caught him off surprise how open he was, how much space it was between him and anybody coming up to tackle him. That's what it
Yeah.
looked like in that one. 20.7 yards per catch on Thursday night. Green Bay, it's a little bit surprising that they're 2-0. I did pick them in this one, but last week I wasn't, too confident with them beating Detroit. But they all in all, they're 2-0. Washington, a lot of improvements need to be made right now, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You put it all on forefront. And like you say, y'all got the Raiders next weekend. That's Mark Bowers, another tight end coming to town. As I mentioned, you mentioned Max Crosby. Geno Smith balled out last week, so we'll see what that looks like there at Northwest Stadium on Sunday. But a lot needs to be done. The good thing is, the silver lining is that y'all got 3 extra days of rest and recovery and game planning before y'all hit the field against the Raiders. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we're gonna need them, especially with the 2 losses of starters, Austin Eckler on the offensive side, Dietrich Wise on the defensive side. Oh, one more thing I just remembered while you were talking. Marshawn Lattimore, he was getting picked on the first drive for the Green Bay Packers. He was getting picked on. I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, he's supposed to be the marquee free agent we brought in last season, and now he's getting picked on. That was one thing that did surprise me. The Packers wide receivers, I thought we would be okay against them, but Mike Sainristil, he got beat for a touchdown by Romeo Dobbs. Matthew Golden, if Jordan Love didn't overthrow him, 2 or 3 times, he might have had 400 yards passing out there. Our secondary against the Packers wide receivers, in my opinion, did not do too good out there. Like I said, Jordan Love was a little off with some of his throws. It could have been way worse. I mean, way worse. So the defense as a whole, not just the linebackers, the secondary too, y'all got to get it together. The defensive line, for the most part, has been playing good, in my opinion. Wasn't a lot of pressure on Jordan Love. We were able to sack him a couple of times, harry him a couple of times. For the most part, we contained Josh Jacobs. I mean, he did have 23 carries, 84 yards and a touchdown, but he didn't gash us. It was running crazy on us like I thought he could. I think I'll give a little credit to the linebackers for that too, but the defense is looking like last year. That's not good, especially when we play against teams that are expected to be playoff contenders. We play against good teams, we get exposed.
One more thing before we go to the next game. I texted you about it. Y'all's defensive coordinator, he's under some pressure. He got to be. Because if they keep playing like that, that's Dan Quinn's boy. He's going to be forced to either take the play calling duty from him and Quinn will start calling it, or he'll be fired altogether. That was Quinn's boy. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out later in the season. As you mentioned, y'all got the NFC North this year. You still got offenses like Dallas, Philly, what I'm saying, down the road. So, yeah.
Yeah, Joe Wood Jr. Hell, he might need to put a helmet on and go out there and play. He might be able to produce better results than the shit that was delivered on Thursday. Excuse me. But yeah, that was, as you can see, I was mad, but now more that I talk about, I get more mad, but I'm definitely disappointed. All right, let's get into it. This is one of the Monday night matchups, the Bucks at the Texans. It'll be on ESPN, ABC. Brandon, what are your thoughts about this game?
Yeah, Houston may be looking at an 0-2 start, unfortunately, after this one. It's going to be a great matchup, though, Monday Night Football. Baker coming off a 3-touchdown performance. Houston's defense, stout. Going to have more than likely going to be a top 10 defense, but when it's all said and done. But the deciding factor in my eyes is which offensive line will show up and which run game will get off the ground. Week 1, Bake was the Buccaneers' leading rusher. And on the other side, Houston only finished with 60 rushing yards in their first game against the Rams. All eyes, though, will be on Emeka Egbuka. What will he do as an encore? He's coming off 2 clutch touchdown performances, 2 touchdown catches against Atlanta. But the Falcons, they don't have the corners like Houston. I know, I think you told me Derek Stingley Jr. got banged up last game. Last I knew, he wasn't on the injury report. And they still have, Kamari Lassiter. I think he'll make things difficult. Those 2 guys will make things difficult for Egbuka and quite possibly Mike Evans as well. But the bottom line is this, man. Houston's got to score more than 9 points if they want to beat Tampa Bay. They cannot win those type of games against an offense that's come to town like Tampa Bay. I'm in favor of Tampa Bay in this one. The Bucks. This game could possibly get away from Houston very quickly if they get behind because they just haven't shown, even though it's one game, they haven't shown that ability to play from behind um, yet. So we'll see how it goes. What do you think about this Monday Night Football game?
Yeah, I agree with you on the O lines for both teams. Who's going to play better? I know going into last week, the Texans O line was really banged up. They lost their center, I believe, Jake Andrews, and they could be getting one of their linemen back, guard Ed Ingram. He might be able to play because he was out last week. If he's able to play, their center's all right. Originally, their offensive line was set one way, but then Ed Ingram got hurt and they had to switch everything around. So if he's able to come back, they could potentially, come into the game with the original lineup that they were predicted to have when the season started. So if he's back, um, I'm thinking that'll be good for the Texas O line. It'll be good for CJ Stroud, be good for Nick Chubb and those guys, Damian Pierce and the running back by community they got out there, and we'll see how they do. I do like the Texans defense a little bit more than I like the Bucks offense. Like you said, two great corners, and then their D line is pretty good as well. Baker Mayfield did have 3 touchdowns, but he only threw for 167 yards against the Falcons. So we'll see what kind of numbers he puts up this week. But I do think he'll be under pressure from that D line of the Texans early and often. So we'll see if they'll be able to run the ball because Bucky Irvin, Rashad White, and those guys, they really didn't make too much noise against the Falcons. Now that could be because the Falcons defense is new and improved, but I think the Texans defense is pretty good too. I mean, the Rams only put up 14 points on them, and they got a pretty good offense in my opinion. So I expect the Texans defense to keep them in the game. CJ Stroud, he still got Dalton Schultz, and he still got Nico Collins, the tight end, wide receiver for the Texans. I think Nick Chubb, honestly, he didn't put up great numbers, but towards the end of the game, he was starting to run the ball a little bit better against the Rams, a couple of 5-yard, 8-yard tight rushes. I won't be surprised if he keeps continuing to prove as he gets more playing time since Joe Mixon is out. He's the lead back for the Texans. I'm kind of leaning toward the Texans right now. Looks like they're favored by 2.5. That's probably because they're at home, but I think this Texans defense is going to keep them in the game. And if the O line, can keep Vita Vea and the Bucks off of him, give me the Texans to win this one in a close one, though. I don't think it'll be a shootout. I think it'll be a defensive battle. But I'm liking the Texans in this one, honestly. But we'll see what happens for sure. All right, we got an AFC North matchup next. Been a lot of bulletin board material coming the Browns' way, in my opinion. Brandon, what do you think about the Browns at the Ravens?
Miles Garrett, y'all, it starts and stops with him when you play the Browns. 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 tackles for a loss, 3 quarterback hits in week 1 versus Cincinnati. Hopefully, we get Patrick Ricard back. He's our all pro fullback, pro bowler, possibly future Hall of Famer on Sunday. And then I believe Charlie Kohler, the second tight end currently, will help a lot in the blocking schemes as well to hopefully slow down Miles Garrett and what he can do, what he can wreak havoc on offensive lines and quarterbacks. Speaking with their defense, the Bengals wide receivers last week were covered up pretty good. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase had a combined 5 receptions for 59 yards. So I think that it'll be a big game for our tight ends in this one. Andrews, and I mentioned Kohler a minute ago. Not that Zay Flowers can't seem like he'll get off against Cleveland. It's just that they still have Newsome and Denzel Ward, top 2 cornerback duo. They definitely, again, showed up last week, held 2 of the best receivers in the league to, again, 59 yards. So we're going to have to try to figure out other ways to get the ball downfield, and I think the tight ends will help. Obviously, we're going to start focus on running the ball, but you can't just be one-dimensional for sure. For our defense, got to keep up with David Njoku. His 6'4", 246-pound frame. He always has played against us very good. especially in the red zone. He's always scored touchdowns against us. Of course, we're fresh off a game where the Bills tight ends had a pretty good night against us. The first opening drive touchdown, I believe, was touchdown to the tight end. Kyle Hamilton, he's probably going to be focused on keeping number 85 covered, which is David Njoku, of course. But our linebackers got to step up as well. Roquan Smith, um, Trenton Simpson. I can't think of the rookie's name. Is Buchanan, number 40. Those guys really got to step up as well because they were not good in pass coverage last week. So last year, heading into week 2, we were in a similar situation. We're coming off a heartbreaking loss against the AFC powerhouse, hosting a mediocre team in our house, and they went bananas on us. Y'all may remember, I think they came back from the Raiders last year, probably around 20, 21 points in the fourth quarter, came back and beat us with guys like Gardner Minshew and stuff. Now we got Joe Flacco, and Ed calls him Fluco. He'll have one good game and then have another bad 2 or 3 games. But Joe knows the team well. He knows the stadium well. He probably knows how the winds are going to come into the stadium. I mean, the man played there for a very long time, so that's something that we got to pay attention to. As for the trash talk, I did hear that it intensified during the week. The first thing I heard was one of their defenders saying that Derrick Henry was not hard to tackle or easy to tackle. So, Derrick Henry kept it, professional and, basically said, we'll handle this on the field, whatever. But I'm thankful that we didn't come back with the trash talk as well, especially coming off a loss. Because to me, if you coming off a loss, I don't think you have a right to trash talk. That's my personal opinion with my team only. But at the end of the day, we got to create turnovers, generate pass rush. We had absolutely no pass rush last week. Josh Allen had all day back there to do whatever he wanted to. Of course, we got to run the ball and score touchdowns. Don't level down to our competition because clearly, we're a better team than Cleveland. I think they have a very good defense, but overall, we're better than them. They typically play us good once a year, but we got to defend our home turf. It's our home opener, which we are very good at. Besides last year against the Raiders, that was a home opener as well. So we got to get back on that winning. One, we got to get back in the win column, and 2, we got to get back to defending our home turf, especially in this first game at home of the season when the crowd's fired up. It's great weather, all that kind of stuff. We got a good amount of people. My favorite games, of course, is 1 o'clock on CBS. So that is what this game is. Give me the Ravens by 11. Ed, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, like you just said, Vegas, the sports better got y'all. I think y'all the biggest spread favorite at 11.5 points. So everybody thinks y'all should win this game comfortably. I'm not too sure it'll be that comfortable just because it's a division game. Like you said, the Browns play y'all good once a year. Joe, I think it'll be one of those Joe Fluco type of games. Jerry Judy was another guy that was kind of putting up bulletin board material talking about the Ravens defense. So we'll see if they'll try to make an example out of him because he said some things about the secondary, if I'm not mistaken. Mike Green, I'm looking for you, sir. I predicted you to be a potential defensive rookie of the year. I didn't hear your name much at all against the Bills, so I'm looking to see if you'll step up and make a play, maybe a game-winning play against the Browns. See how it goes. I think y'all need to give Derrick Henry a shot at making up for that fumble he had against the Bills and run him early and often. Get him pounding. Let him Grant Delpit. I think the safety was the guy who said he's easy to tackle. Let him, go head up with him and see who comes out on top. I think it'll be smash mouth football. Browns D line, Ravens O line. Who's gonna bend and break first? I'm leaning a little bit towards the Ravens as to making the Browns defense bend. I think the Browns offense struggle a little bit, and that'll keep them going 3 and out, 3 and out. Ravens eat up the time of possession. That second half, they start to play smash mouth and just tire out that defense. And then we'll see some, patented Derrick Henry breaking off a 50-yard run or something like that. Won't be surprised if Lamar definitely has a design run or, off the cuff type scramble too, and he breaks off a large run. But Zay Flowers, I think this could be another breakout year for him. He put up great numbers against the Bills, career high if I'm not mistaken. As long as the play calling doesn't get generic and bland, if the game does get tight, throw it to Zay Flowers. It seems like good things will happen. So I think he'll have another big game building off the first game he had too. I like the Ravens in this one as well, but I think it'll be like a touchdown. Unless Joe Flacco has a Joe Flacco game where it's bad and he throws interceptions, I can definitely see him lining up with like Njoku, as you're saying, or Jerry Judy or somebody like that. Cedric Tillman, I think, is another wide receiver off the top of my head. But like you said, he's comfortable in that stadium since he's played there for a while. I want to say he's one of two quarterbacks right now in the league who has 31 wins against other teams. He only needs one more against the Ravens to make that 32. So he might be extra motivated to come out there and get that win as well. But give me the Ravens in this one too. I think y'all are, especially the defense, is licking their fingers, licking their chops to get back on the field and show that we're not mediocre. And that Bills performance, just playing against the Bills and Josh Allen, and just that happened. But I think y'all won't give up a lead if y'all have a lead like that again. I think y'all be able to run out the clock this time, and the defense will make plays and get some pressure on Joe Flacco, and y'all should come out ahead of this one. But we'll see what happens.
Sure. All right, Sunday Night Football featured two NFC teams, Falcons and Vikings, in the home opener for Minnesota. If the Vikings defense can play like it did in the second half against the Bears, they should be in for a win, in my opinion. Second half possessions for Chicago that Minnesota limited them to punt, missed field goal, punt, touchdown, fumble. Minnesota barely surrendered 100 yards in the final two quarters against the Bears. I think on the other side of the field, Falcons offensive coordinator Zach Robinson, he has to get the run game going. Bijan Robinson, he had more receiving yards last week than he had rushing yards. That's not common, in my opinion, especially for a back that a lot of people are considered going into the season as the top back. Definitely in fantasy football, a lot of fantasy football shows I had him number one. And you got to have some production on the run game against this Brian Flores defense. Slow down their pass rush and avoid the turnovers. They love creating turnovers there in Minnesota over the last year and dating back to last week. So even if they dial up some quarterback runs, get Penix out there, some RPOs, something, just get this run game going. You don't want to be forced to throwing the ball on every down against this Minnesota defense. I think the Falcons will want to play keep away against Justin Jefferson and JJ McCarthy. They did get going a little bit in the second half last week. And they came back and won, of course. Javon Hargrave, excuse me. I think Atlanta's offensive line better had been circling his name and having his name on the big board there in their meetings all week. Had 2 sacks last week and 3 tackles. I think he's a free agent acquisition for them. Got to keep their eyes on them. But I feel like the Vikings team is better than Atlanta right now. I think they should win this one. I think Minnesota will win it by at least 6 points. What about you?
Yeah, I'm wondering if JJ McCarthy is going to build off that fourth quarter he had, or if he's going to stink it up like he did in the first half. If he stinks it up like he did in the first half, puts him in a hole, I'm not sure he'll be able to dig himself out of it, even with that vaunted Vikings defense. I agree with what you said with the Falcons in their run game. I think Bijan only had like 20, 25 yards rushing. They also, in my opinion, got a number 2. Probably, I think David Montgomery, if you want to consider him a number 2, he's probably like a 1A, 1B, but he's one of the better, secondary backs in the league, in my opinion. Tyler Algier, I think, get both of those guys going, the Falcons have a really good chance of winning this game, but it depends on if they can run the ball. I like Michael Penix a lot. He can run the ball a little bit too, but doesn't have too much experience in NFL, so that Vikings defense might slow him down a little bit. But if he gets going, if he gets wheeling and dealing, I like to see Kyle Pitts out there. I didn't hear too much from Drake London last week, but if those two guys can get going, I can definitely see the Falcons pulling off an upset in Minnesota. So I'm leaning a little bit towards the Falcons, honestly. I think I'm thinking that the running game will be a little bit better. I think they'll have a focus this week on improving a run, on keeping, like you said, JJ McCarthy and Justin Jefferson off the field. And I think the Falcons defense, if they continue to play like they did last week, where they kept Baker Mayfield to 167 yards, and the run game of the Bucks was pretty much non-existent. If they can do the same thing against McCarthy and the Vikings, I like the Falcons' chances of winning this game. So I need to see if the Falcons get the run game going. If they can, I like to see them be on the field, eating up that time of possession. Like I said, if McCarthy comes out like he did the first half, kind of 2.5 quarters, maybe 3 quarters, where he was not good, threw a pick six, looking like a rookie out there, because even though he's his second year, he didn't play last season. So he looked like a rookie out there. If he's wide-eyed and stuff like that, could be a long night for the Vikings. I'm leaning towards the Falcons and the upset in this one. I think Michael Penix will do just enough, and that run game will get going against the Vikings. And I'm not sure the Vikings run game will do great against the Falcons, in my opinion. So we'll see how that goes. Now let's get into an AFC West matchup. Chargers at the Raider. This is the second Monday night game. We got a double header on Monday Night Football. Chargers out the Raiders. I'm not sure if Brock Bowers is playing in this game. I think he's still dealing with a knee injury, so I have to verify that. I know he was missing practice a couple of days this week, so they're waiting to see if he's able to come back or not. They did draft a tight end of the year before, Michael Mayer. I thought he would, have more of an impact, but Brock Bowers just ate up a lot of the targets he would normally get from Michael Mayer that his rookie year. So we'll see if Brock Bowers is out, if Michael Mayer and Geno Smith get going, because he did have some catches in the game last week when Brock Bowers had to go out. So we'll see how that goes. But will the Raiders defense be able to contain Justin Herbert, not just through the air, but everybody saw the game-winning play he made running the ball. He has that ability to run as well. He can kill you running the ball as well. Will the Raiders defense be able to stop Justin Herbert? I'm not too sure about that. They did a pretty good job against Drake May and the Patriots, but Justin Herbert, Harbaugh, I like those two. So I'm leaning towards the Chargers offense a little bit more. I am to the Raiders defense. So we'll see how it goes. And then looking at the coaches, there's a little bit of history. Pete Carroll and Harbaugh. You just pointed like you agree. So I'll let you talk a little bit more about that. But I'm looking to see, who's coming out, who's going to make the adjustment, who's going to get out coached and things of that sort. Kind of leaning toward Harbaugh, a little biased because he coached from Michigan, maybe a little biased there, but we'll see how that goes. I think that Chargers defense too, Derwin James and those guys will be able to, put some pressure on Geno Smith. I'm not sure if he'll be able to throw a party, throw for 350 plus yards against the Chargers. And Ashton Jeanty, if Ashton Jeanty gets going, I like the Chargers' chances, but I'm not too sure if he'll be able to run the ball like that. I mean, the Chiefs weren't able to run the ball too much against the Chargers. The leading rusher in that game was Patrick Mahomes with 50-something yards. Pacheco didn't really do too much out there. So we'll see how Jeanty looks out there because he only had 38 yards rushing against the Patriots, and they rushed him. They gave him 15 plus carries. So we'll see how that goes. But all in all, I'm leaning towards the Chargers in this one. It's a divisional game. I think it will be close. Chargers are favored by 3.5 points. I like them winning by that too. A field goal, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, give me the Chargers in this one. I think it'll be a close game though. Brandon, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, you mentioned that coaching matchup. That was definitely under the limelight last couple of days. I've seen, flashback pictures of Harbaugh and Pete Carroll from their days at USC and Stafford, respectfully. I'm not a big college football fan, but I think those two are rival schools, and I think they had some pretty good matchups back in the day. So yeah, that'll be something to watch early on in this one. But I'm sure Jim Harbaugh is preaching or has been preaching the importance of getting a win on Monday night, because if they do, they'll have sole possession in the AFC West by 2 games over everyone, of course, because they beat the Chiefs week 1, and if they beat the Raiders week 2, that's 2 divisional matchups in your first 2 weeks. I mean, that's a good way to start the season. And again, second straight road game to start the season. It sounds like a tough feat. But last week they had control of the Chiefs pretty much from start to finish. Definitely, I think on the mental side of things, no matter what, when Kansas City scored or came back and scored, Chargers went out, had a nice long drive and scored. Justin Herbert, he carved the Kansas City defense, and I think he could do it again on Monday night against the Raiders defense. Everybody was expecting a heavy dose of the run game, but they went the total opposite. Greg Roman did, because again, we all know he's used to running the ball. He's known for running the ball, and they just came out and threw the ball all over the yard. So can the Raiders slow down the Chargers passing attack? I don't think so. I know they got Max Crosby, Jeremy Chin. In my opinion, he's pretty solid at the safety position. But other than that, those are the only 2 guys I think that could have an impact on the defensive side of the ball for the Raiders. On the other side, they got Geno Smith for the Raiders offense. He performed quite well last week in his debut with the Raiders, but the Chargers definitely have a better defense than the Patriots, who he was facing week 1. I do, though, think that Chip Kelly will try to get Ashton Genty the ball a little bit more in this one. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, they got that top 6 draft pick, a guy that's coming off 2,000 rushing yards. Got to feed him the ball. Got to give him more opportunities to make plays, get his wheels turning, get him going, and we'll see how it goes. But all in all, I like the Chargers in this one. Pete Carroll, he'll have his guys ready to go. I really do think they'll come out and give up a fight in this one, but I think the Chargers will win when it's all said and done. All right, everyone. Several other week 2 games on the docket. We've got Jags at Bengals, Giants at Cowboys, Bears at Lions, Rams at Titans, Patriots at Dolphins, San Francisco at New Orleans, Buffalo at New York Jets. In the late window, you got Broncos at Colts, Panthers at Cardinals, Eagles at Chiefs. Quick notes on a few of these games. Jags at
Seahawks and
Bengals.
Steelers too.
I'm sorry?
Seahawks at the Steelers.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I missed that one. Oh yeah, because that's DK going. Playing. I forgot because week 1 it was. Aaron Rodgers going back to New York. Week 2, DK going against his former team. So yeah, Jags at Bengals. Will Travis Hunter. I know they're saying I saw something where he's going to be playing more defensive snaps in this one. Will he get exposed against Chase and Higgins? Those 2 guys had a quiet week 1, so I'm sure they'll be biting at their chips, trying to make more plays for their offense against Jacksonville, and it possibly expose the rookie out there. Giants at Cowboys, man, please score a touchdown, New York. Please. I mean, this is what I think they had 3 straight season opener games without scoring a touchdown. They never played good against Dallas lately, down there in Dallas for sure. It'd be even sweeter if they could pull off an upset and watch the Cowboys go 0-2, but I'm not banking on it. Bears and Lions, that's a battle for the bottom of the NFC North. So we'll see how that one goes. Rams and Titans, another tough defense for Cam Ward to face, but this time he'll be at home, so that should help him a little bit. Miami and New England, Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, and this Dolphins team, they got to get it right against the Patriots, man. They gotta. To me, I think it's a must win. A lot of guys are under pressure in this team down there in Miami. San Fran, we got Mac Jones starting in this one.
Your boy.
Yeah, my boy, Mac and Cheese, man. Kittle is also out. This may be an upset. New Orleans may be able to pull this one off there at home. Buffalo and New York Jets, man. Will the Jets give the Bills some fits? Man, they really had a good week 1 against the Steelers. They put up way more points than I think anybody thought they was going to do. Justin Fields did a lot better in the passing game than anybody thought they was going to do. So, and they ran the ball as well. So, and then on the other side, what will Josh Allen do for an encore? We saw him in the 4th quarter comeback against my Ravens. That'll be fun to watch on Sunday. Bo Nix and Denver, they must play better in their game against the Colts, man. Colts are coming off a big win against Miami. Another home game for the Indianapolis um, Panthers and Cardinals. Please pray for Carolina. I think it's going to be a tough game for them traveling across the country, going in there playing against Arizona, one of my top teams, one of my sleeper teams for the NFC. And then, of course, the Super Bowl rematch, excuse me, Eagles and Kansas City. I'm leaning towards the Chiefs because they're at home, plus they're really good coming off of a loss. But I think Philly will get the W. What do you think about some of these other games?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pay attention to the Giants Cowboys. I like seeing how other teams of the division do. So I'll be taking a close look at that game. Bears at Lions. Someone's O has got to go. Who's it gonna be? I'm leaning towards the Lions winning that one, but we'll see how that goes. Caleb Williams didn't play too good. I think he got embarrassed, in my opinion, against the Vikings and how he played. So we'll see if he comes back and plays better. I'm definitely looking at this San Fran New Orleans game. I want to see how much Brock Purdy has covered up, the offense of San Fran, or is it like a system? Will Mac Jones be able to come in there and do the same type of things Brock Purdy's done? Even though he won't have the same type of weapons, Ricky Pearsall is probably the only wide receiver that I know right now. I think Jawan Jennings might be able to play. He's banged up, but we'll see. Of course, he's got tried and true Christian McCaffrey, but that's going to be an interesting game to watch. Seahawks and Steelers, like you said, DK Metcalf going against his former team. See if he has any extra motivation to play against those guys. So I'm looking for that one. Panthers at Cardinals. Yeah, I think is looking like 0-2 for the Panthers, but I could be wrong. I mean, that Cardinals Saints game, Saints at the end did have a chance to tie the game up. So don't know. We'll see how it goes. And then Eagles at Chiefs. Honestly, I'm thinking the Chiefs are going 0-2 here, especially with the loss of Xavier Worthy. I think he's doubtful to play. I know he's week to week, but I wouldn't put him out there against the Eagles, honestly. I think they're gonna go 0-2. I think it'll be kind of similar to how it was in the Super Bowl, where the defensive line, they can rush forward and cause havoc against Patrick Mahomes and the other guys in the secondary. I'm not praying for it. Trust me, I don't want this shit. I hope the Chiefs go out there and whoop their ass, but I think it's going to be the other way around. Jalen Carter, as long as he doesn't spit on anybody, he'll be able to play. And I'm sure he'll be extra motivated and want to make up for his bonehead decision out there. So I'm sure he'll cause havoc out there too. And Patriots out Dolphins, I definitely agree with you. This is a must win for the Dolphins. They had a players only meeting this week. Not a good sign, in my opinion, if they're already having players only meetings, only week 2. So, changes might be made if they lose to the Patriots. Even if it's a close loss or they lose at the end, I think changes could start to happen. But if they get blown out, kind of the way they did against the Colts, yikes. Mike McDaniels, you'll probably be out, and Tua Tagovailoa, if you play bad, have multiple interceptions, I don't know. I don't know if anybody would trade for you, but they might try to see what Ewers can do out there, the rookie from Texas. So we'll see how that goes. And I agree with you about the Bengals and Jags game. I want to see what they're gonna do as far as Travis Hunter, who he's gonna cover, if he's gonna like travel with guys, and how much he's gonna play on the defensive side of the ball. But I still want to see him play wide receiver too, because the Trevor Lawrence, he needs all the help he can get on the offense side of the ball. I like Brian Thomas a lot. But I want to see how Travis Hunter looks on both sides of the ball. I'm going to be watching Travis Hunter throughout the year, so we'll see how that goes. The Rams Titan games, something about that game kind of, I don't know, man. Cam Ward, they lost, but he didn't look too bad against the Broncos defense, in my opinion. So I'm not too sure. He might make it a game against the Rams, but we'll see. And then
Yeah.
Jets Buffalo too. The Buffalo defense, I don't know. This could be a game, honestly. If the Jets play like they did, like you said, against the Steelers, moving the ball down the field. Brees Hall was running. He had over 100 yards rushing. I could definitely see him doing the same type of things against Buffalo. But I know Buffalo, when they play lesser competition, they usually jump on teams, get on them early, and that's pretty much the game by like halftime. So if the Jets can keep it a game, I don't know. I can't remember what the spread is for that one, but I could see the Jets covering that spread. I don't know if they'll win the game, but if they don't get jumped on early, give up 2-3 touchdowns like that, boom, 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 and don't score back, I could definitely see Jets keeping in the game, because that Buffalo defense was against the Ravens, but still, They didn't look too good to start the game going into that fourth quarter too. So that might be a game I circle to keep my eye on for as like upset of the week. But we'll see how that goes. Speaking of games of the week, it's time to make our picks of the week, our parlays. I'm gonna start with the Ravens over the Browns. Biggest spread of the week, like we talked about. Give me the Ravens over the Browns. I don't like betting on this team. I really don't. But oh god, give me Cowboys over the Giants. I think the Cowboys should win this game. Dak looked pretty good against the Eagles team. If CeeDee Lamb's hands didn't turn to bricks, who knows what would have happened in that game. Um, Give me the Lions over the Bears. That's another game I'm kind of iffy on, but I still like the Lions with Caleb Williams. I lost, complete confidence in him. I don't really have too much faith in him at this time. And give me the Eagles over the Chiefs and the Cardinals over the Panthers. So I got Eagles, Cardinals, Cowboys, Lions, and Ravens is my picks of the week for my parlay. Brandon, who you got, sir?
Confident in the Eagles. I like it.
Don't
I like it.
don't do it.
No, just because I hate the Chiefs. See, we on two sides of the fence in this game because you hate the Eagles and I hate the Chiefs. So I'm still a little surprised because again, we know how Kansas City is coming off a loss. They're like New England back in the day. They're damn near unbeatable. But you have your valid points of what you said just a minute ago. That how the Eagles' defensive line will probably pressure them and everything. So yeah, all right. I got to agree with you on the Cowboys over the Giants. We know that I think just last year in the season opener, they shut out the Giants. It was 40-0, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that one was up in New York. This go around to be down in Dallas. Stars are going to be out. Brian Schottenheimer's first game at home. And again, the way the Giants looked last week, it was the same old stuff. It's the same thing I talked about in the recap, the week one recap about the Giants Commanders game. I came off the top. It's a New Year's, same old stuff with the Giants. So give me the Cowboys over the Giants. And I think Carolina's in for a long day out there in Arizona, there in the desert. Kyler Murray and Harrison are looking better. Of course, Trey McBride is still there. James Conner is still running the ball. The defense is getting better. And Carolina just doesn't have that, you know what I'm saying? It seemed like they just disappeared in the second and third quarter against Jacksonville. I know they had that weather delay. That factors into stuff. But to me, Jacksonville didn't look a little slow. They was looking all right. But, yeah, Arizona over Carolina. Out there in the desert, Cowboys and Arizona on our two parlays.
Got you. Before we go, just want to mention a big boxing fight that's happening tonight. Canelo Alvarez is taking on Terrence Bud Crawford, two arguably greatest fighters of our generation. Terrence Crawford is moving up in weight, so it'll be a tough task for him. But great fighters usually show up in a great big moment. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be on Netflix, so it should be free for everyone if you have a Netflix subscription. If you don't have Netflix, you can probably check it out at your local bar, sports bar. They probably got you with a cover charge, or you can do some other things. Google. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but yeah, that's it for another episode of the Breaking Entering podcast. Everyone, I want to thank those out there who take their time to watch, comment, like, subscribe on YouTube. Look for us on our socials, Twitter and Instagram, podcast B&E podcast, and we'll see you next week to go over these games. Talk to y'all next time.